Hey everyone, I've heard lots of people asking questions about how this current coronavirus situation we're dealing with, this pandemic, compares with the 2009 swine flu pandemic, also compared to the 1919 Spanish flu pandemic. I think those are good questions to ask. We should be asking those kinds of questions. In the United States, at least back in 2009, we didn't have any kind of response like we have now. And so a lot of people might be perplexed about, why is this so different? Why didn't we do this back in 2009? Why are we doing it now? Should we be doing this? Those are good questions to ask. I made some charts and we'll walk through what the differences are and look at the data and see what that tells us. Okay, so this chart here shows the 2009 swine flu pandemic plotted out. What we're doing is we take a published R0 value of 1.5 and then we set a time zero with 54,856 cases as our starting point right here. That's a really specific number. I'll get into why we picked that number here in a little bit. But so day zero, then we build an exponential growth curve based on that R0 value of 1.5. And so you might wonder, well, what is R0? R0 is a number that tells you for every person that's infected, how many more people do they infect. So with an R0 of 1.5, on average, a sick person will infect another 1.5 people. And then those 1.5 people infect another 1.5 people. And that's how you get the exponential growth curve. All right, so this next chart is going to show us the 1919 Spanish flu in blue compared to the 2009 swine flu, which is in red. So the R0 for the Spanish flu was about 2.1, and the R0 for the 2009 swine flu was about 1.5. And so you can see that builds a really different exponential growth curve for the 1919 flu versus the 2009 flu. So that's how R0 can impact the exponential growth. All right, so the last chart we're going to look at shows the COVID-19 added here into the plot. So COVID-19 since March 24th has been showing an R0 of about 2.8. And this is really what people are concerned about. So this is the reason we've chosen 54,856 cases. On this date in the United States, March 24th, the United States had 54,856 cases. So what I've done is I've normalized all of this for a percent population instead of an actual population, because the country had different populations in 2019, 2020 versus 1919 versus 2009. So this is all normalized for population. And this red section of the line here, this shows actual documented cases of infections. And so that's what people are worried about, is that the growth rate that we're on looks like this. And if we continue on that growth rate, then 30 days after March 24th, or basically late April, we're going to nearly have 1% of the population infected. That's a lot of people. That's over 3 million people. So then we have to start talking about, well, how do we get R0 to be smaller, right? R0 has to do with how much we're interacting with each other. The more people interact, the more the disease spreads. So when Walmart says only 50 people can go in the store at a time, they're doing that to try and make this number smaller. And all of this growth that we've had so far has been based on this R0 of 2.8. And that's been the growth rate that we've experienced up until this date that I'm posting this April 4th, 2020, with all of our efforts that we've been making to stop the spread of the disease. So this is why people are concerned. And this is real information that I'm presenting, real data. So hopefully that can help people understand why COVID-19 is not the same as the 2009 swine flu.